What if reality is a giant joke? What if someone up there decided to play with the laws of probability and throw us a show of the absurd, where mathematics dies and logic cries in the corner? Today, you'll learn about 33 coincidences that should never have happened. Never. Under any circumstances. Forget everything you've been told about chance. Forget probability theory. Because what you're about to hear will shatter your comfortable understanding of how the world works. Presidents who lived parallel lives 100 years apart. People who dreamed of their deaths and went to meet them anyway. Ships that sank exactly as described in a novel 14 years before the disaster. Kings who met their doppelgangers, who were born on the same day, married on the same day, and died on the same day. Today, we're not just analyzing weird stories. We're completely tearing apart your self-confidence. You thought you understood how reality works? Now you'll see the light. And it will be unpleasant. It will be painful. But you will finally see the truth. Reality doesn't play by the rules we've been taught. Get ready for 33 facts that will prove this world is broken. And it might not be a bug. It's a feature. Pause. Presidents and destinies. Pause. Fact number 1. Pause. Abraham Lincoln and John Kennedy. 2 presidents, 2 centuries, and one impossible chain of coincidences that tears any logic to pieces and spits them in the face of mathematics. Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Kennedy was elected exactly 100 years later, in 1960, 100 years apart, to the day. Both were killed on a Friday. Both shot in the head. Both were sitting next to their wives at the moment of the assassination attempt. The wives survived, but were forever broken. The killers were caught, but both were shot before trial, murdered by men who suddenly wanted to restore justice with their own hands. And now the details that make you shudder. Lincoln was killed by John Wilkes Booth. Kennedy was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. Both names have 15 letters. Count them if you don't believe me. Both assassins were born within 100 years of each other. Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theatre. Kennedy was riding in a Lincoln, a Ford automobile. Ford's Theatre is a Ford automobile. It's as if someone decided to leave a signature. Lincoln was succeeded by Vice President Andrew Johnson, born in 1808. Kennedy was succeeded by Vice President Lyndon Johnson, born in 1908. 100 years apart. Same last name. Both Johnsons. Both Southerners, Democrats from Tennessee and Texas. Both senators before becoming vice presidents. Lincoln's secretary was named Miss Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Mrs. Lincoln. Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. Kennedy in 1946. Exactly 100 years again. Lincoln was shot in a theater. The assassin hid in a warehouse. Kennedy was shot from a warehouse. The assassin hid in a theater. Imagine trying to explain this away as random. Mathematicians will tell you, the chance of such a coincidence is 1 in several trillion. But it happened. Reality laughed at the numbers and did it. It's as if some screenwriter were copying and pasting events a century later. Fact number 2. Pause. The 4th of July, Independence Day of the United States. A holiday, fireworks, parades, flags, patriotism, and 3 presidents who decided to die on this very day, as if they had agreed in advance. Let's go out beautifully on the nation's most symbolic day. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, 2 founding fathers, authors of the Declaration of Independence, friends, then enemies, then friends again. They argued, quarreled, wrote angry letters to each other. Then they made peace and corresponded for years, discussing philosophy, politics, the meaning of life. Both lived to a ripe old age. Adams was 90, Jefferson 83, and both died on July 4th, 1826, on the same day, within hours of each other, exactly 50 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which they had co-authored. Adams was dying, and his last words were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." He didn't know that Jefferson had already died a few hours earlier in his home at Monticello. The 2 men who created the country left it on the same day. the most symbolic day in the nation's history, 50 years later. To the day. But that's not all. The fifth president, James Monroe, also died on the 4th of July, 5 years later, in 1831. The third president in 5 years. One date, the 4th of July. America's birthday became the day its founders died. 3 presidents. One date, July 4th. It's as if someone at the top drew up the schedule and decided, let them go out with style on the country's birthday. Coincidence? Accident? Try to believe it. Try calculating the probability that 3 of the first 5 presidents will die on the same day. Fact number 3. Pause. Robert Todd Lincoln, son of President Abraham Lincoln, lawyer, Secretary of War, diplomat, and the man who became a living bane for American presidents, the angel of death in human form. April 14th, 1865. Ford's Theatre, Washington. The play, Our American Cousin. Robert wasn't at the theatre with his parents that evening, but he rushes there after hearing the gunshot. He sees the dying Abraham Lincoln carried out of the theatre. Blood, chaos, screams. His father dies before his eyes. The first presidential assassination of his life. July 2nd, 1881. A train station in Washington. Robert Lincoln, now Secretary of War, has been invited to a meeting with President James Garfield. They stand on the platform, talking, waiting for the train. A shot rings out. Garfield falls, bleeding, the bullet lodged in his spine. Robert is there again, holding the dying president. Garfield will die after 11 weeks of agony. A second assassination, September 6, 1901. The Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. Robert Lincoln is invited by President William McKinley to a ceremony. They enter the Temple of Music. The president shakes hands with visitors. Anarchist Leon Czolgosz approaches with a bandaged hand, a revolver hidden under the bandages. He fires twice. McKinley falls. Robert Lincoln is there again. McKinley will die 8 days later of gangrene. A third assassination. 3 presidents, 3 bullets, 1 witness. After McKinley's death, Robert Lincoln publicly declared, "I will never again accept an invitation from a president." He called himself a curse. He feared his presence was killing people. 3 presidents, 3 assassination attempts, 36 years. What are the chances of being present at 3 presidential assassinations in a lifetime? Practically 0. But Robert Lincoln did it. He was there every time. Fact number 4. Pause. And now for the mind-blowing irony of fate. Edwin Booth, famous actor, star of the American stage, brother of John Wilkes Booth, the very man who shot Abraham Lincoln. And this Edwin once saved the life of the president's son, long before the assassination. Late 1864 or early 1865, the exact date is debatable. A train station in Jersey City, New Jersey. A crowd of passengers storms a train. There's a crush, shouts, people push and shove, trying to get seats. A young man stands on the edge of the platform next to a car. Someone pushes him. He loses his balance and falls into the gap between the car and the platform. Another moment, and the train will start moving, the wheels crushing him. A hand grabs him by the collar of his coat and pulls him up with one powerful jerk. The savior is Edwin Booth, the famous actor, America's most popular Hamlet, a theater star. He didn't even think. He simply grabbed and pulled. The rescued is Robert Todd Lincoln, the president's son, 21 years old. Robert recognized his savior immediately. Edwin Booth was famous, but Edwin didn't know whom he'd saved. There were many faces in the crowd. He simply helped the man and left. He only learned of it several months later, when he received a letter from a friend, Colonel Adam Badeau, an army officer who had served on Grant's staff. Badeau wrote, "You saved President Lincoln's son." Robert told me. Edwin was proud. He was genuinely glad that at least something good connected his family name with the Lincolns. And then, just a few months later, his younger brother, John Wilkes Booth, killed that same boy's father. April 14th, 1865. A shot at Ford's Theatre. Edwin saved his son. His brother killed their father. One Booth family. 2 acts. Rescue and murder. What do you call it? Fate? Madness? A reality that mocks people and laughs in their faces. Fact number 5. Pause. King Umberto II's Italy, July 28, 1900. The city of Monza. The king arrives for a sporting event and decides to dine at a local restaurant. The restaurant owner comes out to personally greet the distinguished guest, and King Umberto freezes. His face turns white. His eyes widen. Standing before him is his exact copy, not just a look-alike, a replica. Face, height, build, even the mustache, thick, curled upward at the ends, are identical. The restaurant owner looks like the king's twin brother. Umberto is completely shocked. He starts asking questions and learns details that make your blood run cold. The restaurant owner is also named Umberto, just Umberto, like the king. He was born on March 28, 1844, the same day as King Umberto I, in the same city, Turin. Same date, same city, same country. They both married on April 14, 1868. On the same day, both wives bear the name Margherita. The Queen's name is Margherita of Savoy. The restaurant owner's wife is simply called Margherita. Umberto. The restaurant owner opened his establishment in Monza on the very day that Umberto I was crowned King of Italy, January 9, 1878. The king is completely stunned. He invites his double to the competition the next day, wants to introduce him to the public to show off this incredible coincidence. They agree to meet. The king leaves, discussing this crazy encounter with his adjutants the entire way. July 29, 1900. Morning. An aide-de-camp enters the king's presence, pale-faced. He reports, restaurant owner Umberto was shot dead last night on the street. Killed instantly. Circumstances unclear. Possibly a robbery. The king is in mourning. He cancels some events, but still attends the athletes' awards ceremony. It's evening. A square. A crowd. Anarchist Gaetano Bresci emerges from the crowd and shoots King Umberto I 3 times at point-blank range. 3 shots to the chest. The king dies almost instantly, without regaining consciousness. 2 Umbertos. Born on the same day, in the same city. Married on the same day, to women with the same names. One was crowned king. The other opened a restaurant, on the same day. Died on the same day. One from a bullet on the street at night. The other from a bullet in the square in the evening. Explain it as a coincidence. Explain it mathematically. Try. Fact number 6. Pause. Napoleon Bonaparte and Adolf Hitler. 2 dictators, 2 Europes, 2 centuries. A difference of 129 years. And a chain of coincidences that seems as if history has looped, hit the replay button, and replayed itself with only minor changes in the scenery. Napoleon was born in 1769. Hitler was born in 1889. A difference of 120 years. Napoleon came to power in France in 1804. Hitler came to power in Germany in 1933, a difference of exactly 129 years. Napoleon invaded Russia on June 24, 1812. Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa on June 22, 1941. Another 129 years apart. 2 days in June, both in the summer. Both were absolutely confident of victory. Both planned a quick war. Both reached Moscow and beyond. Napoleon entered burning Moscow in September. Hitler approached the outskirts of Moscow in December. His soldiers saw the Kremlin towers through binoculars. Both suffered crushing defeats in winter. The Russian winter. Frost, snow, hunger. Both retreated along frozen roads. Napoleon's Grande Armée of 1812 was reduced to a crowd of freezing ragamuffins. The Wehrmacht retreated in 1941-1942, leaving hundreds of thousands of corpses in the snow. Napoleon lost the war decisively in 1815 at Waterloo. Hitler capitulated in May of 1945. The difference is again approximately 130 years. Napoleon was exiled to St. Helena, where he died alone 6 years later. Hitler shot himself in a bunker near Berlin, surrounded by enemies, his empire in ruins. 2 people, 2 centuries. The same story, the same mistakes, the same Russia, the same ending. Greatness, invasion, winter, collapse. History doesn't repeat itself. Here's proof otherwise. It does. Cyclically, methodically, cruelly. Like someone playing an old record over and over again. Fact number 7. Pause. Wilmer McLean, a simple farmer from Virginia, a sugar merchant, a man who simply wanted to live a quiet life, raise a family, and tend to his farm. But fate decreed otherwise. Fate decreed that his house would become a symbol of the American Civil War. Twice. At the very beginning and at the very end. July 21st, 1861. The First Battle of Bull Run, or the Battle of Manassas as it was known in the South. The first major engagement of the Civil War. The McLean farmstead is located right next to Bull Run Creek. It finds itself at the epicenter of the fighting. Confederate General Beauregard uses the McLean house as his headquarters. Cannons roar from all sides, and then a Union cannonball crashes through the roof of McLean's kitchen and lands right in the pot of soup his wife was making. Explosion, smoke, shrapnel. No one is hurt, but the cannonball is in their pot. The war has come to his home, literally, to his kitchen, to his soup. McLean is terrified. He doesn't want war. He doesn't want his family to live under gunfire. He decides to leave. He sells the farm and moves far south to the quiet rural town of Appomattox, Virginia. There, McLean thinks, the war will definitely not reach him. Too far from the front, too quiet. He buys a house, red brick, 2 rooms, a spacious living room. He settles in, hoping for peace. April 9th, 1865. 4 years later, General Robert E. Lee's army is surrounded. The Confederacy has lost. Lee is looking for a place to negotiate a surrender with General Grant. They need to meet somewhere. Lee's aide-de-camp stumbles upon Wilmer McLean's house in downtown Appomattox. He asks permission. McLean can't refuse. 13 o'clock in the afternoon. General Robert E. Lee enters McLean's living room in his dress uniform, carrying a saber. General Ulysses S. Grant enters in a dirty, unmarked field uniform. They sit at McLean's desk. They talk. They sign the terms of surrender. The war is over. The Civil War, which claimed 620,000 lives, ended in Wilmer McLean's living room. The Civil War began in his home and ended in his home. 4 years of war, 3.5 million soldiers, thousands of battles from Pennsylvania to Texas, and 2 key moments, the first battle and the final surrender, both in the homes of one man who simply wanted to live in peace. McLean later told reporters, "The war started in my backyard and ended in my living room." What are the odds of that? Practically 0. 1 man, 2 houses, the beginning and end of a war. But it happened. Pause. Disasters and survivors. Pause. Fact number 8. Pause. 1898. Writer Morgan Robertson publishes a novel called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. It's about a gigantic, unsinkable liner considered a marvel of engineering. The ship is called the Titan, the largest ship in the world, the most luxurious, the safest, unsinkable. In the novel, the Titan sets sail across the Atlantic in April. There are 2,000 passengers on board, but there are woefully few lifeboats, only 24. The ship is sailing at full speed. The captain is overconfident. The weather is foggy. And then, on a cold April night, the Titan hits an iceberg on its starboard side. The ship sinks. Most of the passengers perish because there are not enough lifeboats. Disaster, horror, tragedy. The novel was published in 1898. 14 years later, in April 1912, the Titanic was launched. The largest ship in the world, the most luxurious, the safest, unsinkable. So say the newspapers. April 14th, 1912. The Titanic is crossing the Atlantic. There are 2,200 people on board. There are 20 lifeboats. Captain Edward Smith steers the ship at high speed, despite ice warnings. Night. Cold. At 11:40 p.m., the watchman shouts, "Iceberg dead ahead." Impact. Starboard. The ship begins to sink. There are not enough lifeboats. 1,500 people perish in the icy water. Compare. Titan. Titanic. April. Atlantic. Iceberg. Starboard side. Shortage of lifeboats. 2,000 passengers. Mass death. Robertson wrote this 14 years before the disaster. He even described the sizes of the ships, almost identical. He described the speed, almost the same. He described the month, April. He described the cause, an iceberg on the starboard side. Robertson was asked after the disaster, "How did you predict this?" He replied, "I didn't predict it. I was simply writing about the most logical scenario for a large ship to crash. But logic doesn't explain the coincidence of names. It doesn't explain the identical parts. That's not logic. That's something else." Robertson died in 1915 without ever explaining how he knew. Fact number 9. Pause. Violet Jessop, stewardess, Argentinian of Irish descent, the woman who survived 3 of the 20th century's greatest maritime disasters. 3 ships, 3 giant White Star Line liners, and she survived each time. September 20th, 1911. The Olympic, the Titanic's older sister ship. Violetta is a stewardess. The ship is sailing through the Solent near the Isle of Wight. The British naval cruiser Hawke rams the Olympic on the starboard side. A huge hole. Water gushes in. The ship lists. Panic. But the Olympic remains afloat. Everyone survives. Violetta is unharmed. The first disaster. April 10th, 1912. The Titanic sets off on its maiden voyage. Violetta is back on board as a stewardess. She's overjoyed. A new ship, unsinkable, beautiful. April 14th. Night, an iceberg. Impact. The Titanic sinks. Violetta helps passengers board the lifeboats. She's ordered to get into lifeboat 16 to set an example for the passengers. Like, even a crew member getting on means it's safe. She gets on. The lifeboat is lowered. Violetta is saved. 1,500 people are drowning. She survives. The second disaster. November 21st, 1916. World War I. The hospital ship Britannic, the Titanic's younger sister, has been converted into a floating hospital. Violetta is a Red Cross nurse. The ship is sailing through the Aegean Sea. It's 8:20 a.m. There's an explosion. A German mine or a submarine torpedo. It's still unclear. The Britannic begins to sink. Violetta jumps into the water, narrowly missing the propeller of the running engine. She is picked up. She survives. The ship sinks in 55 minutes. 30 people die. Violetta is alive again. The third disaster. 3 Olympic-class ships. 3 disasters. 1 woman. 3 times over. Violet Jessop died in 1971 at the age of 84, in her bed, of heart failure. She survived icebergs, rams, mines, but they nicknamed her Miss Unsinkable. What are the odds of surviving the 3 greatest maritime disasters of the era? Mathematically, almost 0. But Violet did it. Fact number 10. Pause. Tsutomu Yamaguchi, Japanese engineer, employee of the Mitsubishi Shipbuilding Company, and the only person in the world officially recognized by the Japanese government as having survived both atomic bombings, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, twice. August 6th, 1945. Yamaguchi is on assignment in Hiroshima. He is 29 years old. He is a tanker design engineer. It is morning. 8:15. Yamaguchi is walking down the street to the shipyard. The sky is clear. He hears the roar of an airplane. He looks up. He sees a B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay. He sees something small fall from the plane. Flash. Explosion. The 15-kiloton Little Boy atomic bomb explodes 600 meters above the city. Yamaguchi is 3 kilometers from the epicenter. The shockwave knocks him off his feet. The flash blinds him. Heat sears his face and hands. He loses consciousness. He woke up, ruins all around, fires, screams. Yamaguchi was wounded, burned, shell-shocked, but alive. He spent the night in a bomb shelter. On the morning of August 7th, he boarded the last train out of devastated Hiroshima. The train was heading south. Yamaguchi was returning home to Nagasaki, August 9th, 1945. 3 days later. Yamaguchi is at the Mitsubishi office in Nagasaki. He's telling his director and colleagues about what he saw in Hiroshima, about the atomic bomb, about the flash brighter than 1,000 suns. The director doesn't believe it. He says, "One bomb can't destroy an entire city. It's impossible." 11 o'clock. At that moment, there's a flash. The second Fat Man atomic bomb, with a yield of 21 kilotons, explodes over Nagasaki. Yamaguchi is again 3 kilometers from the epicenter. Another shockwave. Another flash. More burns. The office building is destroyed. Yamaguchi survives. For the second time. Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived 2 atomic bombs in 3 days. He lived until 2010. He died at the age of 93 from stomach cancer. He said, "I survived 2 bombs to tell the world. This cannot be repeated." What are the odds of being at the epicenter of 2 atomic explosions in 3 days and surviving both? Practically impossible. But Yamaguchi did it. He survived twice where hundreds of thousands perished. Fact number 11. Pause. Hoover Dam, Colorado. One of the greatest engineering marvels of the 20th century. A concrete colossus 221 meters high. Construction began in 1931, finished in 1936. 5 years, 21,000 workers, 112 deaths. The first death occurred on December 20th, 1922, before construction began. Surveying work. Engineer John Gregory Tierney descends into the Colorado River Canyon to take measurements for the future dam. He slips, falls, kills himself. The first victim of the Hoover Dam. December 20th, 1922. Construction continues. Workers are dying from heat, falls, and accidents. Concrete is poured for days. Temperatures in the canyon reach 50 degrees Celsius. People are dying right on the job, but construction continues. America needs a dam. It needs electricity. It needs control of the Colorado River. December 20th, 1935. The last day of construction. Worker Patrick William Tierney is installing the electrical system. He loses his balance at height. He falls. He falls to his death. The last casualty of the Hoover Dam construction. December 20th, 1935. Patrick William Tierney, son of John Gregory Tierney. His father died on December 20th, 1922, the first victim. His son died on December 20th, 1935, the last victim. Exactly 13 years later, to the day, December 20th, the first and the last, father and son, on the same construction site. Is this a coincidence, a fluke, or did the Hoover Dam claim its victims, the first and last, from the same family? Workers later said, the dam took the Tierneys twice, first the father, then the son, on the same day. Mathematics says the odds of such a coincidence are millions to 1. But it happened. December 20th, 13 years, 2 Tierneys, 1 dam. Fact number 12. Pause. June 28th, 1914, Sarajevo, Bosnia. A sunny Sunday morning. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, arrives in the city on an official visit. His wife, Sophie, is at his side. A motorcade of 4 cars, security guards, crowds of onlookers. The route is known in advance, published in the newspapers. Terrorists from the Serbian organization Black Hand are planning an assassination. 7 men are positioned along the embankment. All have bombs and pistols. The plan is simple. When the motorcade drives along the embankment, drop the bomb. 10:15 in the morning. The first terrorist, Nedeljko Chabrinovic, throws a bomb at the Archduke's car. The bomb bounces off the folded tarpaulin and explodes under the next car. Several people are wounded. The Archduke is unharmed. The driver accelerates. The motorcade rushes forward. The remaining terrorists don't make it. The assassination attempt has failed. The Archduke is furious. He cancels part of the program, but decides to visit the wounded in the hospital. The route is changed. The new plan drives straight down the main street, past the center. The governor gets into the car to show the way, but no one has warned the Archduke's driver, Leopold Leuker, about the change in route. 11 o'clock. The motorcade leaves the town hall. The Archduke's car turns right onto Franz-Josef-Strasse, the old route. The governor shouts, "Stop! Wrong way! We need to go straight ahead." The driver brakes. The car stops, right in front of Schiller's grocery store. At that moment, Gavrilo Princip emerges from the grocery store. 19 years old, a terrorist, one of the 7 who plotted the assassination that morning. After the failure, he decided it was all over. He went in for a bite to eat, ate a sandwich, came out, and he sees, right in front of him, 2 meters away, is the Archduke's car. The engine has stalled. The driver is trying to start it. Princip can't believe his eyes. He pulls out a Browning. He fires 2 shots. The first bullet hits Sophia in the neck. The second hits the Archduke in the stomach. Both die within an hour. A wrong turn, a stalled engine, a terrorist who happened to be in the right place at the right time. A month later, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. World War I had begun. 20 million dead, all because of a wrong turn. The driver didn't know the route. The terrorist came out of a grocery store. 2 coincidences. The price, a world war. Fact number 13. Pause. A village in the Balkans, the beginning of the 20th century. A simple peasant named Rola Primada works in the field. A thunderstorm, dark clouds, thunder. He hurries home. He doesn't make it in time. A flash, a lightning strike. Rola falls dead. 1899. Lightning killed him instantly. 30 years pass. 1929. Rola's son, also named Rola the Younger, is working in the same field. Same village, same place. A thunderstorm. He's not afraid. Lightning rarely strikes the same place twice, people say. He continues to work. Flash. Lightning strikes. Rola the Younger falls dead, in the same spot where his father died. 30 years later. About 20 more years pass. 1950 or so. The exact date is lost, but the fact is documented. The grandson of the first Rola, the son of the second, also named Rola, walks through the same field. A thunderstorm. He knows the family history. He knows that his father and grandfather were killed by lightning. But he doesn't believe in curses. It's superstition, he thinks. A flash. A lightning strike. Rola the grandson falls dead. The third. In the same place. 3 generations. 3 Rola Primards. Grandfather, father, grandson. All 3 killed by lightning. In the same field. In roughly the same place. 30 years between the first and second. 20 years between the second and third. It's not just a coincidence. It's a curse. Either the place attracts lightning, or the Primard name is somehow doomed. The villagers said the place was cursed. No one walked through that field during thunderstorms anymore. They put up a sign. What were the odds of lightning killing 3 members of the same family in the same spot over 50 years? Astronomically low. Lightning striking in the same spot. Rare. Killing 3 members of the same family. Almost impossible. But the Primard family proved that reality doesn't follow the laws of probability. Fact number 14. Pause. Roy Cleveland Sullivan, ranger at Shenandoah National Park, Virginia. The man who entered the Guinness Book of World Records as the only person in the world to survive 7 lightning strikes. 7. All documented. All confirmed by medical reports. First strike, 1942. Sullivan in a fire tower. Lightning strikes the tower. The current goes through his leg. Burn. He survives. The second strike is July 1969. Sullivan is driving a truck on a mountain road. Lightning strikes him through the open window. His eyebrows are burned. He loses consciousness. The truck swerves into a ditch. He survives. Third strike, 1970. Sullivan in his yard. Lightning hits a transformer, jumps onto him, burns his left shoulder. He survives. The fourth strike, April 16th, 1972. Sullivan is at work in the park. Lightning strikes him directly. His hair catches fire. He puts it out with his jacket. He suffers burns to his head and torso. He survives. The fifth strike, August 7th, 1973. Sullivan is patrolling the park. He sees a thundercloud. He tries to drive away. The cloud chases him. He said it like this: "The cloud was chasing me." Lightning strikes the car and through him. He suffers burns to his legs and stomach. He survives. Sixth strike, June 1976. Sullivan is checking out a campsite. Lightning strikes him, burns his ankle. He survives. The seventh strike, June 25th, 1977. Sullivan is fishing. It's clear. Suddenly, a thunderstorm. Lightning strikes him. His chest and stomach are burned. He puts out his burning hair. Then a bear tries to steal his fish. Sullivan fights the bear off with a branch. He survives. 7 lightning strikes in 35 years. Roy Sullivan carried a bucket of water to extinguish himself if he caught fire. Co-workers were afraid to stand near him during thunderstorms. They said he attracted lightning. Sullivan fell into depression. He considered himself cursed. In 1983, at the age of 71, he shot himself. He had survived 7 lightning strikes. He did not survive despair. What are the odds of surviving 7 lightning strikes? The chance of dying from one is about 10%. The chance of surviving 7, practically 0. But Roy Sullivan did it, 7 times. Reality chose him. Why? Nobody knows. Pause. Twins and doubles. Pause. Fact number 15. Pause. 1947. Ohio. Twins are separated at birth. 2 different families adopt them. The children know nothing about each other. They grow up 30 kilometers apart. Different homes, different parents, different lives. Both are named James. It's just a coincidence, their adoptive parents believe. Both families give them middle names, one James Arthur, the other James Allen. The difference is just 2 letters. The boys grow up unaware of their twin brother. 1979. They are 39 years old. James Arthur Springer receives a letter from the adoption agency. They tell him, "You have a twin brother. His name is James Edward Lewis. He wants to meet." Jim Springer is shocked. He didn't know. They are dating. And so the madness begins. Both Jims had a dog named Toy when they were kids. Both dogs were the same breed. Both Jims hated spelling in school and loved math. Both Jims worked in law enforcement, one a sheriff, the other a security guard. Both Jims married women named Linda. Both divorced. Both remarried women named Betty. Both Jims named their firstborn sons James Allen. One James Allen, the other James Allen. The difference is just 1 letter. Both Jims smoked Salem cigarettes. Both drank Miller Lite beer. Both bit their nails as children. Both suffered from migraines with identical symptoms. Both vacationed on the same beach in Florida, Paso Grill Beach. In different years, but in the same place, in the same motel. Both Jims built a white bench around a tree in their yards, with their own hands. The same design. Both Jims gained 6 kilograms at the same time in their lives. Both started going bald at the same age. Scientists from the University of Minnesota studied the Jim twins. They administered tests. The results were identical. IQ, personality tests, brain waves, heart rate. They lived parallel lives, unaware of each other. Genetics, coincidence, or something else, a connection science can't explain. The Jim twins proved that, separated at birth, they still lived the same life twice. Fact number 16. Pause. John Wilkes Booth, a renowned actor of his time. He was the same man who attempted to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theatre on April 14, 1865. 12 days later, on April 26th, he was found and killed. He was only 26 years old. But the family's history is far more complex and interesting. John's older brother, Edwin Booth, was one of the most talented and respected actors of 19th century America, a true theatre star, especially famous for his role as Hamlet. And here's one of the most astonishing details. It was Edwin Booth who once saved the life of the president's son, Robert Todd Lincoln. This happened in April 1865, shortly before the tragedy at Ford's Theatre. A stampede erupted at the Jersey City train station. Robert found himself on the edge of the platform and nearly fell under an oncoming train. At the last moment, someone's strong hand grabbed him by the collar and pulled him to safety. That person turned out to be Edwin Booth. He didn't even know who he was saving. He simply helped a random person in the crowd. Robert immediately recognized the famous actor. A few weeks later, his younger brother, John Wilkes Booth, carried out the fatal assassination attempt on Robert's father, Abraham Lincoln. One family, two brothers. One saves the president's son, the other takes the president's life. This story still evokes amazement and makes us reflect on how strangely and unexpectedly human destinies can intersect. Fact number 17. Pause. London, 17th century. A time full of political intrigue and religious disputes. On October 12, 1678, the body of a man was discovered on Primrose Hill, a hill in the north of the city. His name was Sir Edmund Berry Godfrey. He was 57 years old. He held the position of Magistrate of Westminster, a respected judge. A few days earlier, Godfrey had accepted the sworn testimony of a priest who had allegedly plotted a Catholic conspiracy against the king. The plot was later revealed to be fictitious, but by then Sir Edmund had already died. An investigation began and arrests followed. A few months later, 3 suspects were apprehended: Robert Greene, Henry Berry, and Lawrence Hill. Note their last names: Greene, Berry, and Hill. The victim's name is Edmund Berry Godfrey, which contains the word Berry. The location where the body was found is Primrose Hill, which contains the word Hill. The suspects' names are Greene, Berry, and Hill. All of this adds up to the phrase Greenberry Hill, or translated into Russian, something like Greenberry Hill. The 3 men were tried and found guilty. They were executed at Tyburn on February 21, 1679. However, over time, historians began to doubt their guilt. The evidence was weak and their testimony dubious. They were likely victims of the panic and political climate of the time. But this very coincidence of names and places still evokes amazement. The names of the suspects, the victim's first name, and the name of the hill unexpectedly form the same phrase. Such cases make one wonder just how surprising and unexpected intersections in history can be. Fact number 18. Pause. World War I, 1917, Atlantic Ocean. The German auxiliary cruiser SMS Leopard patrols the sea lanes. Mission: to sink British ships. But the Germans are cunning. They disguise the Leopard as a British cargo ship. They repaint it. They fly the British flag. They change the identification marks. The Germans chose the name of a real British ship for camouflage. They named their cruiser SS Barrowland, the name of a real British cargo ship of the Allan Line. The plan was simple. If they encountered a British or Allied ship, they would assume it was their own. They would approach. Then the Germans would raise their battle flag and open fire. An excellent plan. It works for months. The Leopard, disguised as the Barrowland, sinks several ships. The Allies are confused. Where are the attacks coming from? Is one of their ships actually a raider? February 1917. The Atlantic. The Leopard, named Barrowland, is patrolling. A ship appears ahead. The Germans look through binoculars. A cargo ship. Allied or neutral? They approach. Signal flags are raised. A greeting from the SS Barrowland. The ship answers. The signalman on the German Barrowland reads the flags. He freezes. He reports to the captain, "This is the British steamship SS Barrowland, the real one." A German ship, pretending to be the British Barrowland, accidentally encountered the real British Barrowland in the ocean. The very same ship whose name had been stolen. Exactly the same. In the open ocean. Millions of square kilometers of water. thousands of ships, and 2 Baralans came face to face. Panic erupts on the German cruiser. The British cruiser Baralan still has no idea what's happening. Its captain spots his ship and is confused. 2 identical ships with the same name. How is that possible? The Germans realize their camouflage has failed. They turn sharply and flee at full speed. The British Baralan reports by radio. They have encountered a duplicate ship, possibly a German raider. After this incident, the Germans changed the Leopard's name and camouflage. What are the odds of a fake ship meeting a real one in the ocean? The chances are practically zero. The ocean is vast. The routes are varied, but it happened. Reality winked and arranged a meeting between 2 Baralans. Fact number 19. Pause, Mark Twain. Real name, Samuel Langhorne Clemens. Writer, author of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, one of the greatest American writers, and a man whose life was connected with Halley's Comet. November 30th, 1835. Mark Twain was born in a small town in Florida, Missouri. 2 weeks after his birth, Halley's Comet appeared in the sky. Bright, ominous. People said it was a sign. Halley's Comet appears once every 75 to 76 years. It arrived in 1835. Mark Twain grew up. He wrote. He became famous. He traveled the world. He lectured. He became an icon of American literature. But he remembered the comet. He was born under it. And he believed in symbols. The year 1909. Mark Twain is 74 years old. His health is failing. His heart aches. Astronomers announce Halley's Comet is returning. It will appear in 1910, the first appearance in 75 years. Mark Twain writes a letter to a friend. Quote, I came into this world with Halley's Comet in 1835. It returns next year, and I expect to go with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I do not go with Halley's Comet. The Almighty has undoubtedly said, here come 2 inexplicable freaks. They came together. They must go together. April 20th, 1910. Halley's Comet reaches perihelion, its closest point to the sun, visible in the sky. Bright, beautiful. The next day, April 24, 1910, Mark Twain dies of a heart attack at his home in Redding, Connecticut. He is 74 years old. He was born with a comet. He died with a comet. 75 years. 1 cycle of Halley's Comet. He predicted his death. He knew he would go with it. And he was right. What are the odds of being born in the year of a comet that appears once every 75 years and dying exactly 75 years later when it returns? 1 in 75 for your entire life. Mark Twain fell into that window. He came with the comet and left with it. It was as if the cosmos had written his biography and decided that the beginning and end should be mirror images. Pause. Numbers and dates. Pause. Fact number 20. Pause. Bulgaria, Varna, 2009. A family lives in an apartment building. Life is ordinary. Work, children, everyday life. They have a little son, 4 years old. The boy plays at home, draws, looks out the window. One day, a family is watching TV. The news announces the national lottery for the next day. A big prize draw. The father thinks, maybe he should buy a ticket. The mother says, let's ask her son to pick the numbers. Children are lucky, they say. A 4-year-old boy's parents ask him, name 4 numbers. Any numbers. The boy doesn't hesitate. He quickly says, 4, 3, 2, 1. His parents laugh, but that's just counting backwards. He just learned to count backwards. Okay, they say, let it be 4, 3, 2, 1. But then the father thinks. He looks at the sign by the door, the address of the apartment. The house number is 4. The entrance number is 3. The floor is 2. The apartment number is 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. The boy has named the address of their house, room by room. The father is shocked. He goes to buy a lottery ticket. He writes down the numbers, 4, 3, 2, 1. The next day, the lottery draw. They spin the wheel. The first ball is a 4. The second ball is a 3. The third ball is a 2. The fourth ball is a 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. In exactly the same order. The family wins the jackpot. What are the odds of 4 numbers coming up in the exact order? 1 in 10,000, if the lottery is simple. The odds of a child accidentally naming a house address as the winning combination? Practically 0. But a Bulgarian family did it. 4 years, 4 numbers, 1 address, 1 jackpot. Fact number 21. Pause. 1929. A year that will go down in history not for wars and revolutions, but for the birth of 2 people. 2 children who will change the world, who will become symbols of struggle. A struggle against evil, against discrimination, against injustice. June 12, 1929. Frankfurt am Main, Germany. A girl is born to the Jewish Frank family. She is named Anneliese Marie, but the whole world will know her as Anne Frank. 4 years later, Hitler will come to power. The Frank family flees to Amsterdam. There, Anne will hide for 2 years in a safe house, writing a diary. This diary will be read by millions. Anne will die in the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in February 1945. She will be 15 years old. January 15, 1929. Atlanta, Georgia, USA. A boy is born into the African-American King family. They name him Michael, but his father later changes his name to Martin Luther King Jr. He will grow up. He will become a priest. He will lead the civil rights movement for blacks in America. He will say, "I have a dream." He will receive the Nobel Peace Prize. He will be assassinated on April 4, 1968, in Memphis. He will be 39 years old. Anne Frank, Martin Luther King, born in the same year, 1929, 5 months apart, different continents, different skin colors, different religions, but one mission, the fight against discrimination. She fought anti-Semitism by recording the truth about the Holocaust. He fought racism by calling for non-violent resistance. Both died young. Both left a legacy that changed the world. Both became symbols of hope and struggle. And both were born in 1929. Coincidence? Or the year the world decided to give itself a chance at salvation by giving birth to 2 people who would remind humanity of conscience. Fact number 22. Pause. 1838. Edgar Allan Poe, master of the dark tale, writes his only novel, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym. It's about a shipwreck. 4 survivors are adrift in the open ocean in a lifeboat, without water, without food, dying of starvation. They decide to draw lots, who will be eaten so that the others will survive. The lot falls on the cabin boy, a 17-year-old boy named Richard Parker. He is killed, eaten. The other 3 survive. Richard Parker dies so that they can live. This is a novel. Fiction. Edgar Allan Poe made it up, published in 1838. 46 years have passed. July 30th, 1884. The English yacht Mignonette sinks in the South Atlantic. 4 crew members are rescued in a small boat. Captain Tom Dudley, mate Edwin Stevens, seaman Edmund Brooks, and the cabin boy, a 17-year-old boy. They drift. The days go by. No water, no food, heat, thirst. The cabin boy drinks seawater and gets sick, weakens, dies. After 19 days of drifting, Captain Dudley tells the others, "The boy is going to die anyway. Let's kill him now. Use his blood for drink, his meat for food. Otherwise, we all die." July 25th. Captain Dudley kills a cabin boy with a knife to the neck. 3 survivors drink his blood, eat his body. 4 days later, they are picked up by a German ship. 3 survived, 1 dead, eaten. The survivors are put on trial in England. The trial becomes a sensation. Was it murder or sheer necessity? They are found guilty but given suspended sentences of 6 months. Society is divided. Some condemned, others sympathized. And the name of the cabin boy who was eaten? Richard Parker, 17 years old. Same name, same age, same role. a victim of cannibalism on the open ocean. Edgar Allan Poe wrote this 46 years before it actually happened. Word for word, name for name. How? How did Poe know? He died in 1849, 35 years before the actual shipwreck. He couldn't have known. But he wrote, Richard Parker, Cabin Boy, Eaten at Sea, fiction made real, word for word. Fact number 23. Pause. Bermuda, 1975. A man is riding a moped down the road. It's a quiet day, a normal route. Suddenly he's hit by a taxi. The moped rider dies instantly. Tragedy, an accident. The police are recording the details. The taxi's license plate number is 9100. The driver has given a statement. The passenger in the taxi has also given a statement. Everyone is in shock. The victim has been identified. The family is grieving. A funeral is underway. The case has been closed as an accident. Exactly 1 year has passed. 1976. Same island, same month. Another man is riding a moped on the same road. Suddenly, he is hit by a taxi. The moped rider dies instantly. The police arrive. They begin recording the details. Taxi number, 9100. Same number. A policeman stops, checks records. Yes, that's right. Taxi number 9100 struck and killed another moped rider a year ago. Same driver? The police check. Yes, same driver behind the wheel. The police question a taxi passenger. They write down his name. They check it against a case from a year ago. They freeze. The same passenger. The same man was in the taxi a year ago when the first death occurred. And now he's back in the same taxi with the same driver. And again, a moped rider has been fatally struck. The police are questioning the second victim's family. They learn his name. And then the worst begins. The second victim is the first victim's brother. 2 brothers. Both were riding mopeds. Both were hit by taxi number 9100, by the same driver, with the same passenger, on the same road, exactly 1 year apart. Moreover, the second brother was riding the same moped that his deceased brother had ridden a year earlier. The same moped, on the same road, hit by the same taxi. 1 year difference, to the day. What are the odds? 2 brothers, 1 moped, 1 taxi, 1 driver, 1 passenger, 1 road, a year apart. This isn't a coincidence. It's a statistical impossibility. But it happened, twice. Taxi number 9100 became a curse for 1 family. Fact number 24. Pause. Detroit, USA, 1930s. A Franciscan monk named Joseph Eager is walking down the street. It's a quiet day. He's thinking about prayer, about worship, about God. Suddenly, a cry from above. A woman screams, "Help! The child!" Monk Joseph looks up. He sees a baby falling from the balcony of an apartment building. The baby had crawled over the railing, lost its balance, and was falling. 4th floor, a fatal height. The monk doesn't think. He rushes forward. He opens his arms. The baby falls right on top of him. A blow. The monk falls on his back. The baby is on his chest, crying, but alive. The monk is wounded, but enduring. The mother runs out, sobbing, thanking God, thanking Monk Joseph. The child's name is, let's say it's the Johnson family. Baby Johnson is alive thanks to the monk. Exactly 1 year has passed. Monk Joseph is walking down the same street again, the same route. He often walks here. It's the path from the church to the orphanage where he serves. Suddenly there's a scream from above. A woman screams, "Oh my God, the child is falling." The monk looks up. Another baby is falling from the same balcony of the same building. Same height, 4th floor. The baby has crawled over the railing. The mother turns away for a moment. The child falls. Monk Joseph doesn't think again. He lunges again. He opens his arms again. The baby falls, right on top of the monk. Another blow. Again the monk is on his back. Again the baby is alive, crying, but safe. The mother runs out. A different family. Not the Johnsons. Different people. But the same house, the same balcony, the same monk. Joseph Eager saved 2 babies. Both fell from the same balcony, a year apart. Both times, a monk happened to be passing by at the right moment. Both times, he caught them. Both survived. What are the odds of accidentally being hit by a falling baby twice in 1 year? On the same street? From the same balcony? Practically zero. But monk Joseph did it. After the second time, he said, "God put me here twice, so I'm in the right place." He continued walking the same path for the rest of his life. No one else fell. But 2 babies survived thanks to an impossible coincidence. Or is it not a coincidence? Fact number 25. Pause. Paris, 1950s. A writer and paranormal investigator studies strange coincidences. He collects stories, writes them down, and verifies them. One of the stories is about 3 fires, 3 families, 3 different countries, relatives, but living far from each other. One family lives in France, the second in Germany, the third in Italy. The siblings once moved across Europe. They rarely see each other. They write to each other a few times a year. A specific date. Let's say August 15th. The exact date is lost in the records, but the fact is documented. A house in France catches fire. The cause is a short circuit in the kitchen wiring. The fire is extinguished. The house is heavily damaged. The family is in shock, but everyone survives. Same day, same date. A relative's house in Germany catches fire. A candle fell on a tablecloth in the living room. The fire spread quickly. Firefighters extinguished it. The house is damaged. The family is shocked, but alive. Same day, same date. A relative's house in Italy catches fire. The cause, a spark from the kitchen stove that landed on the wooden floor. The fire spread. Neighbors helped put it out. Part of the house burned. Everyone survived. 3 houses, 3 countries, 3 related families. All 3 houses caught fire on the same day. No arson. 3 different causes. Wiring, a candle, a stove. But the same date. The families later called each other. They learned of the coincidence. They were horrified. How was this possible? 3 fires on the same day, affecting relatives. They decided it was a family curse, or a warning. They gathered for the funeral of one of the family members a year later. They discussed the day. No one could explain it. A paranormal investigator recorded this incident. He checked letters and documents. The dates matched. 3 fires, 1 day, 3 families. The odds of 3 related houses in different countries catching fire on the same day by chance. Millions to 1. But it happened. Reality proved once again, coincidences don't follow logic. Pause. Premonitions and prophecies. Pause. Fact number 26. Pause. October 20th, 1966. Wales. The village of Aberfan. A small mining village in a valley. Houses, a school, a church. An ordinary morning. Children on their way to school. Parents on their way to work. Fog creeping across the hills. The day before, on October 19th, 10-year-old Errol May Jones comes into her mother's kitchen. She has a strange expression on her face. She says, "Mum, I had a dream." Her mother continues cooking and asks, "What dream, dear?" Errol says, "I dreamed I was going to school, but there was no school. Something black covered it. The whole school, black and huge." The mother stops, looks at her daughter. Errol is serious. She's not joking. The mother asks, "Are you scared?" Errol shakes her head. She says quietly, "I'm not scared of dying, Mum." The mother turns cold. But what can she say? It's just a child's dream, a nightmare. She hugs her daughter, says, "It's just a dream. Everything will be okay." Errol nods, goes to bed. The next morning she gets up, gets ready for school, leaves. October 20th, 9:15 in the morning. Pantglas Primary School in Aberfan. 144 children and 5 teachers in the classrooms. Classes have begun. There's fog outside. At that moment, a gigantic pile of mine waste, coal dump number 7, collapses on the mountainside above the village. Millions of tons of black slag, saturated with rainwater, are set in motion. An avalanche. The black mass rushes downwards at the speed of a train. It demolishes houses, covers a farm, and crashes into Pantglass School. The building is crushed. The roof is broken. The classrooms are filled with black sludge. Screams, darkness, horror. Rescuers have been digging for 2 days. They're recovering bodies. 116 children are dead. 5 teachers are dead. Among the dead is Errol May Jones, 10 years old. She told her mother, "Something black is going to cover the school." She said, "I'm not afraid to die." The day before, a black avalanche killed her. Errol's mother later told a psychiatrist about the dream. He was collecting testimonies of premonitions of disaster. 36 people were found who had dreams or premonitions of Aberfan. But Errol was the most accurate. She saw it. She knew. She went to school anyway and died under the black mass she saw in her dream. Fact number 27. Pause. April 1912, Southampton, England. The Titanic is preparing for its maiden voyage, the largest ship in the world, the most luxurious, the safest. Tickets are sold out. Crowds of mourners line the pier. Delight, joy. The Pride of Britain sets sail. There's a man standing on the pier. His name is Alex Mackenzie, a simple Scotsman, a working man. He bought a third-class ticket on the Titanic. He saved up for a long time. He's going to America for a better life. He has all his documents, his luggage. The ticket is in his pocket. He walks down the gangway, climbs. People crowd around. Noise, excitement. But suddenly Alex stops, freezes. He hears a voice, clear, loud, male. The voice says, "Don't board the ship." Alex looks around. No one is around. People walk past. No one said anything. Alex takes another step. The voice again, "Don't board the ship." Louder, more insistent. Alex stops. His heart pounds. He looks around. People look at him strangely. He's standing in the middle of the gangway, blocking their progress. But the voice was real. He definitely heard it. The third time. The voice almost screams, "Don't board the ship!" Alex turns around, walks down the gangway, heads back to the pier. People are surprised. The officer shouts, "Hey, where are you going? Boarding is over." Alex doesn't stop. He walks away, leaves the pier, boards the train back to Scotland. At home, the parents are in shock. What happened? The ticket cost a fortune, all their savings. Alex tries to explain. "I heard a voice. It told me not to board." The parents don't understand. "What voice? Are you crazy?" Alex is silent. He knows what he heard. He can't explain. But he didn't board the ship. April 15th, 1912. The Titanic is sinking. Iceberg. Cold water. 1,500 people die. The news shakes the world. Alex Mackenzie reads the newspapers. His hands are shaking. He should have been there. He should have died. But a voice stopped him. Whose voice? He never recognized it. But that voice saved his life. Fact number 28. Pause. April 1865. The White House, Washington. President Abraham Lincoln is exhausted. The Civil War is almost over. General Lee surrendered on April 9th. Lincoln is happy. The country will be restored. The Union is preserved. But he is tired, very tired. One night in early April, Lincoln can't sleep. He tosses and turns, finally falls asleep. He dreams, scary, vivid, real. In his sleep, he hears crying, sobbing, quiet, but loud. He gets out of bed. He walks through the corridors of the White House. The crying gets louder. He goes downstairs. He enters the East Room. There is a hearse, a coffin, covered with an American flag. Around him are soldiers in an honor guard. People are crying. Lincoln approaches. He asks one of the soldiers, "Who died? Who's in the coffin?" The soldier turns, looks at him, says sadly, "The president. He was killed." Lincoln wants to look at the face in the coffin. But he can't. He wakes up. In the morning, Lincoln is shocked. He tells his wife Mary. She is horrified. She says, "This is a bad sign. Don't go anywhere. Avoid public events." Lincoln shakes his head. She says, "I can't live in fear. It's just a dream." He tells the dream to his bodyguard and friend, Ward Hill Layman. Layman writes down Lincoln's words, description of the dream, date. Lincoln says, "It was as if someone else had been assassinated, but it was the president." Layman pleads, "Sir, be careful. This is a warning." April 10th. Lincoln is in a good mood. The war is over. He plans to go to the theater with his wife, to relax, see a comedy, unwind. April 14th, Friday, Ford's Theater. The play, Our American Cousin, 10:15 in the evening. Act 3. John Wilkes Booth enters the presidential box. He draws his pistol. He shoots Lincoln in the back of the head. The president falls. Booth leaps onto the stage. He shouts, "This is always the way with tyrants." He runs away. Lincoln dies the next morning, April 15th, at 7:22 a.m. Without regaining consciousness, Lincoln saw his death. He saw the coffin. He heard the crying. He knew the president would be assassinated. A few days before it happened, he told everyone about it. He went to the theater anyway and was assassinated. The dream came true, word for word. Fact number 29. Pause. Carl Gustav Jung, Swiss psychiatrist, founder of analytical psychology, Freud's student, then rival, a genius, an explorer of the depths of the human psyche, and the man who saw the First World War before it began. Autumn of 1913. A year before the war, Jung at his home in Switzerland. He is 38 years old. He is at the peak of his career. He works, he writes, he sees patients. Life goes on quietly. October 1913. Jung has a dream, a nightmare. He stands on the shore. Before him is the sea. But the sea is strange. It stretches from the North Sea to the Alps. All of Europe is underwater. A monstrous flood. Cities are destroyed. Debris floats. Civilization is destroyed. And thousands, tens of thousands have drowned. Bodies float in the water. Dead faces. Empty eyes. Jung wakes up in a cold sweat. He doesn't understand. What was it? Psychosis? He's a psychiatrist. He knows the symptoms. He checks himself. Everything is fine. But the dream was so real. 2 weeks later, a second dream. The same nightmare. Flood, destruction, death, drowned people. It's the spring of 1914. Jung has his third dream. But now the entire sea has turned to blood. Red water. Blood everywhere. Corpses. Ruins. And a voice. A clear voice in his head tells him, "Look, this is absolutely real. It will happen. You can't doubt it." Jung is panicking. He thinks, "I'm going crazy." He's afraid to tell anyone. He's a doctor. If they find out he's seeing such visions, his career is over. He remains silent, but the fear grows. What if this isn't psychosis? What if it's a premonition? June 28, 1914, Sarajevo. Assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. July 28th, Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. August 1st, Germany declares war on Russia. August 3, Germany declares war on France. August 4th, Great Britain declares war on Germany. World War I begins. Europe is drowning in blood. Millions dead. Trenches, mud, gas attacks, cities destroyed, civilization on the brink. Jung reads newspapers, looks at photographs, sees maps. Everything is just like in his dreams. A flood of death, a sea of blood. Thousands of drowned soldiers dying in the mud of the trenches. Jung realized he had seen the war, a year before it began. He had seen the destruction of Europe. He had heard a voice that said, "This is real." Later, Jung wrote about this in his memoirs. He described dreams. He said, "I saw the collective unconscious of humanity preparing for catastrophe." The psyche knew. Before the events happened, Jung saw the future. and it was a nightmare. Fact number 30. Pause. Eamon McEnany, an ordinary man, works at the World Trade Center, New York City, an office on one of the high floors of the North Tower. Good job. Family, wife, kids. Life goes on. But starting in 2001, something happens to Eamon. He becomes strange, nervous. He tells his wife, "I won't survive this year." She asks, "Why? Are you sick?" He shakes his head. "I just know. Something will happen." The months pass. Eamon grows increasingly obsessed. He tells his colleagues, "These towers are unsafe." He recalls the incident of 1993, when an explosion occurred in an underground garage. 6 people died. The towers remained standing, but Eamon remembers. He says, "It could happen again." His colleagues laugh. "Eamon, relax. Everything's fine. Security is tight. Nothing will happen." But Eamon won't calm down. He tells his wife every morning, "I'm not coming home." She's tired of listening. She says, "Enough. You're scaring the children." September 11th, 2001. Tuesday, clear morning. Eamon wakes up, feels dizzy, nauseous, can barely get up. His wife looks at him, says, "Stay home, you don't look well." Eamon shakes his head, says, "No, important meeting, I have to go." His wife insists, "Eamon, please, stay." He looks at her. He hesitates for a second. Then he shakes his head. He says, "I have to." He kisses her. He hugs the children. He leaves. The last time she sees his back is in the doorway. It's 8:46 a.m. The plane hits the North Tower of the World Trade Center, between the 93rd and 99th floors. Eamon McEnany's office was above the impact zone, but there's no way down. The stairwells are destroyed. The elevators are out of order. He's trapped. 9:03. The second tower is hit. Eamon calls his wife from his mobile. He says briefly, "I love you. Tell the children I love them." The line goes dead. 9:59. The South Tower collapses. 10:28. The North Tower collapses. Nearly 3,000 people die. Among them is Eamon McEnany. He knew. He'd been saying it for months. "I won't survive this year." He sensed tragedy. He could have stayed home that morning. His wife had asked him to. He felt dizzy, a sign, but he went to work. Why? Fate, duty. He couldn't change the future, even knowing it. He saw it. He sensed it. He went anyway, and died. Fact number 31. Pause. October 20th, 1966. Wales, the village of Aberfan. The day before the disaster you've already heard about. The day a girl named Errol May Jones told her mother about her dream of a black mass covering her school. But she wasn't alone. There was another child who knew. 8-year-old Paul Davis is sitting at the table at home, drawing. His mother is preparing dinner. She asks, "What are you drawing, Paul?" The boy doesn't answer. He's focused. The pencil moves across the paper. His mother comes over and looks over her shoulder. The picture shows a hill, a mountainside. People are digging. Lots of people with shovels. They are digging the earth, black earth. It looks gloomy, strange. Mum asks, "What is this, Paul? What are they doing?" The boy looks up. He simply says, "Digging." Then he takes a pencil and writes in large letters above the drawing, "The end," in capital letters, big. The end. The end. Mum looks at the drawing. She feels awkward. She asks, "The end of what, Paul?" The boy shrugs. He says, "I don't know. Just the end." He puts the drawing down. He goes to play. Mum folds up the drawing, puts it away in a drawer. It's an unpleasant feeling, but what's wrong with that? Childish fantasies, nightmarish pictures. Children draw all sorts of things. She forgets about it. The next day, October 21st, 1966. 9:15 a.m. A coal dump collapses. A black avalanche engulfs the Pantglass school. 116 children and 5 teachers die. Rescuers dig, for 2 days, with shovels, by hand, with excavators. They dig through the black mass. They pull out the bodies. Among the dead was 8-year-old Paul Davis, the boy who had drawn people digging a hill the day before. He had written, "The end." The day before, it happened. He had drawn rescuers digging to retrieve his body. He had written, "The end," his end. The end of 116 children's lives. Mum found the drawing a week after the funeral. She opened the drawer. She saw it. She fell to her knees. She sobbed. Her son knew. He saw. He drew his death the day before. People digging in the black earth. The end. It was all there, in a child's drawing, made 24 hours before the disaster. Psychiatrist John Bark, who investigated premonitions of the Aberfan disaster, received this drawing from Paul's mother. He studied it. He dated it. He confirmed it was taken on October 20th, the day before the collapse. The child saw the future. He drew it and died in it. The end. Fact number 32. Pause. Jean Dixon, American clairvoyant, astrologer, celebrity. In the 50s and 60s, her predictions were published in newspapers. Some considered her a charlatan, others believed her. But one of her predictions became legendary because it came true. Word for word. 1956. Jean Dixon gives an interview to Parade magazine. She is asked about the future of America, about politics, about the presidential election. She speaks with confidence. A Democrat will be elected president in 1960, but he will not complete his term. He will be assassinated or die in office. The journalist takes notes. Published in a magazine. The article is from May 13th, 1956, 7 years before the event. Dixon continues. A young man, a Democrat. He will come to power, but he will be killed. 1960. Presidential election. Candidates: Republican Richard Nixon and Democrat John Kennedy. Young, 43 years old, charismatic, Catholic. The first Catholic candidate with a real chance. Victory. Kennedy becomes the 35th President of the United States. Democrat. Young, as Dixon said. November 22, 1963. Dallas, Texas. President Kennedy's motorcade drives down Elm Street, an open car. Kennedy waves to the crowd. His wife, Jacqueline, is at his side. 12:30 p.m. Shots fired. 3 shots. Kennedy is wounded in the neck and head. He falls into his wife's lap. The car speeds to the hospital. 1300 hours. President John Fitzgerald Kennedy has been declared dead. 46 years old. Assassinated. In office. Democrat. Young. Didn't complete his term. Just as Jean Dixon said. 7 years earlier. Journalists dug up the article from 1956. Reprinted it. Shock. How did she know? Dixon said, "I saw it. A flash. A vision. The White House. Morning. A young president dead. The number 1960 something." She didn't give an exact date. She didn't give a name. But she did say, a Democrat, young, killed in the line of duty. All 3 came true. The skeptics said she was right. It's a 50-50 chance, Democrat or Republican. But young, assassinated, will not complete his term. This is no longer a guess. This is a prediction. Jean Dixon died in 1997, but her prediction of 1956 remains. 7 years before Kennedy's assassination, she saw it. She said it. It happened. Fact number 33. Pause. And now the finale. The final fact. The most terrifying. Because this is not a clairvoyant's prediction, not a child's dream, not a monk's vision. These are the words of John Kennedy himself. He predicted his own death 2.5 years before it, June 5th, 1961. Kennedy has been president for 4 months. The Cold War is at its peak. The Cuban Missile Crisis looms. Tensions are rising. The threat of nuclear war is real. Kennedy understands. He is the leader of a superpower at the most dangerous time in history. He's sitting at his desk, writing a note, a private letter, not for the public, for himself, or for posterity. His personal secretary, Evelyn Lincoln. Yes, Lincoln is her last name, another coincidence. Sees him writing. Kennedy hands her the paper. He says, "Keep this." Evelyn reads. She feels cold. On the paper is written, "I know there is a God, and I see a storm coming. If he has a place for me, I am ready." A short note, but the meaning is clear. Kennedy sees death, feels it coming, prepares. Evelyn asks, "Sir, are you serious?" Kennedy looks out the window, nods, says, "Yes, very serious. Keep this." She puts the note away, keeps it, doesn't show it to anyone. It's personal, too dark. Months pass, years. Kennedy works. The Cuban Missile Crisis. The world is on the brink of nuclear war. October 1962. Kennedy averts the apocalypse. Negotiations with Khrushchev. The missiles are removed from Cuba. Peace is saved. Kennedy is a hero. But the note lies in Evelyn's desk. "I see a storm coming. If he has room for me, I'm ready." November 22nd, 1963. Dallas. Shots fired. Kennedy dead. The storm had arrived. The place was there. God took him. Evelyn Lincoln found the note after the assassination. She reread it. She cried. He knew. 2.5 years before, he wrote, "I see the storm. I am ready." He sensed it. He accepted. He went to Dallas anyway, even though his advisors warned him. "It's dangerous. Texas is against you. Don't go." Kennedy replied, "A president cannot live in fear." He drove off, in an open car, no bulletproof glass, waving to the crowd, smiling. The storm caught up with him on Elm Street. 3 shots, 35 seconds that changed history. Kennedy predicted his death. Jean Dixon predicted his death. Lincoln dreamed of his death. Errol May Jones saw her death the day before. Paul Davis painted his death. Eamon McEnany knew he wouldn't survive 2001. Alex Mackenzie heard a voice and didn't board the Titanic. They saw it all. They all knew. Some were saved. Most died. Reality showed them the future. Why? To prevent it? Or to prepare? We don't know. But the facts say one thing. Sometimes people see what hasn't happened yet. And more often than not, it's impossible to change. Fate is written. All that remains is to accept it, as Kennedy did. I'm ready. 33 coincidences. 33 facts that prove reality doesn't play by our rules. The mathematics of probability are powerless. Logic breaks down. Time is non-linear. The future sometimes seeps into the present. And when it happens, all you can do is watch and be horrified. Reality is broken. Or it always was. And we're only just now noticing it. Pause. 33 facts. 33 coincidences that shouldn't have happened. But they did. Presidents living parallel lives 100 years apart. Kings meeting their doppelgangers, born on the same day and dying on the same day. People surviving 3 maritime disasters. A man struck by lightning 7 times. Twins separated at birth, but living the same life down to the smallest details. Children seeing their deaths the day before. Writers predicting disasters decades in advance. What does all this prove? That the mathematics of probability is a beautiful fairy tale that only works on paper. That logic is powerless against reality. That time doesn't flow as linearly as we were taught in school. The future sometimes seeps into the present. The past repeats itself with frightening accuracy. People's destinies intertwine as if someone were writing a script and copying the characters. Did you think you lived in a predictable world? That if you knew the laws of nature, you understood how everything worked? 33 facts just shattered that illusion into dust. Reality doesn't play by the rules. It laughs at statistics. It mocks logic. It arranges coincidences that are impossible. And it does it again, and again, and again. And here's what's truly frightening. These 33 cases are only the ones we know about. Only the ones that are documented. Only the ones that made it into newspapers, books, archives. How many more stories like this happen every day? How many people are experiencing impossible coincidences right now and don't understand what's happening to them? Maybe reality isn't the ironclad laws of physics and mathematics. Maybe it's something else. stranger, more alive, more unpredictable. A system in which the impossible sometimes happens, not because the laws are broken, but because the laws are incomplete. We know only part of the rules of the game. The rest are hidden. And when they emerge, we call it a coincidence and try to forget. But you won't be able to forget. Because now you know. You've heard 33 stories that boggle your mind. And every time a strange coincidence happens to you, and it will, believe me, you'll remember. Remember the Jim twins. Remember King Umberto and his double. Remember Roy Sullivan and the 7 lightning bolts. Remember Errol May Jones, who dreamed of her own death. And you'll think, what if this wasn't a coincidence? So what is this? Fate? Predestination? A glitch in the matrix? Is God playing dice with the universe? Or is reality just playing tricks on people who are overconfident in their understanding of the world? I don't know the answer. No one does. But the facts say one thing. Reality is broken. Or has it always been like this? Strange, unpredictable, full of impossible coincidences. And we simply live in a world where sometimes things happen that should never happen. Now a question for you. After everything you've heard, do you still believe in coincidences? Or are you beginning to suspect that someone or something up there is playing tricks on us? Tell us in the comments, which of the 33 facts shocked you the most? And has anything so incredible ever happened to you that you still can't explain it? Because maybe your story will become fact number 34. Subscribe to the channel if you want even more stories that will blow your mind, like if you still have goosebumps. And remember, there are no coincidences, or they are, but too often to be coincidental. Thank you for being with me. See you in the next episode. If, of course, reality allows us to meet again.